So I'm going to go ahead and introduce today's presenter. So my name is Seema. I'm the online learning producer here at TechSoup. My colleague Zareen, you might be seeing some chats from her on the back end. She's going to be helping out with technical assistance. And then our main presenters today are Neetu and Ricky, who are cloud service provider account managers. And they have been working in the nonprofit sector for several years. And they've also been with TechSoup for many, many years. Today is also Neetu's birthday, so I just want to make sure that our chat function is working and that you guys can hear me. So if you could all just type in happy birthday Neetu, and if I see those messages, then I'll know that our chat box is actually working. All right, I see them coming through loud and strong. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Neetu.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining TechSoup today. Today we're going to talk about an introduction to CSP and our Cloud Manager. We're going to do some product review and also talk about our value-added services, and at the end we'll finish off with a question and answer session. Okay, so currently, as you all know, TechSoup is now a Microsoft CSP reseller. What this means is that before April 2018, all the Microsoft queries, or if you had to purchase any Microsoft products, you will go directly to Microsoft and purchase your Office 365 or Microsoft 365 products from there. But as of April 2018, TechSoup became a Microsoft CSP reseller, and you can purchase all your Microsoft 365 and Office 365 products directly from TechSoup. Currently, we offer the following products through TechSoup, which is Microsoft 365 and Office 365, both business and enterprise plans. We also offer enterprise mobility and security plans as well, and Power BI licenses. We do a warm referral to Microsoft to obtain the following products, which is Azure credits and Dynamics 365. And we also provide several value-added services such as managed IT, help desk, and tech impact consultancy and support services. My colleague Ricky will talk more about the value-added services towards the very end. Currently, the CSP sales process includes a two-key step process. So the first one is that organizations need to have a valid Microsoft tenant ID, and it's always in the format of name@organizationname.onmicrosoft.com. For example, for me it would be Neetu@TechSoup.onmicrosoft.com. But this is the tenant ID per your specification. You would be making this during the submission of your application to Microsoft. And the second step is that you should be accepting TechSoup as your Microsoft CSP reseller. At the bottom, you can see three bubbles on how this process flow works like. First one, CSP support, that's me or Ricky, would be calling the requester either via email, or we'll be contacting you via email or via phone. And we confirm the product needs with the requester. We explore several value-added services and the self-service options. Once that's determined, CSP or the requester will be registering at the Microsoft nonprofit portal for a valid tenant ID. If this is already done, or once this tenant ID has been validated, the requester should then accept TechSoup as a CSP reseller. Once that's done, CSP support then completes the account creation, and then we process the order based on the licenses requested by the requester. So how you get started is that you can either get to this particular page you see on screen, either from any cloud product tile in our TechSoup catalog, or you can simply go to TechSoup.org and type in Office 365 at the search bar. You can see this current page which will pop up, and you will be offered two different options. One is Ask Our Experts option, and then the second one is Get Your Solution. If you know what you want, you can just go ahead and click on the second option, which is Get Your Solution. Once you click on that, it's a self-service path to our Cloud Manager, which I'll be showing shortly. In the Cloud Manager, you'll be seeing your different products, and you can just check out using that particular, whichever product you were looking at. However, if you needed some help in deciding what product you were looking at, whichever Office 365 product you were looking at, you can just click on Ask Our Experts button, and then you will be receiving a sales intake form which will be available for our consultation. So you just fill in the form, and then we will either reach out to you via email or via phone, and we can just move forward that way. So once you click on Get Your Solution, you'll be taken to creation of a Cloud Manager account. Once you create a Cloud Manager account, you'll see the following in the product catalog. So all these products you see currently on this page are what is available in the Cloud Manager product catalog. Each of these tiles, if you're interested, you simply have to click on them and navigate to that particular product, and all the features and the pricing would be available in that page. And once you find your product, you simply click on Add to Cart and check out that way. Now we're going to talk about different products, which is the Windows 10 operating system, and our several on-premise Office license types, and a little bit about Office 365 and what's included in Office 365, and the several different licensing options for Office 365. Windows 10 operating system. Currently we have the different versions of Windows operating system is the Home operating system. This is an operating system which is the most common. It's installed on most computers, which is purchased from retail outlets. The Professional operating system is basically the lowest level edition, which is practical for business use. In our TechSoup.org catalog, you can find the Get Genuine and the operating system upgrade, both of which upgrades to the Windows 10 Pro. And the Windows 10 Pro is also, as cloud offers, is available in the Microsoft 365 E3 license. So if you're interested in the cloud version, it should be available in the Microsoft Enterprise E3. A little bit about what Office is. Office is a client application suite for Windows PC and for Mac. Currently we have 3 versions of Office. One is the Office Standard, which is available for both Windows and Mac. Then we have the Office Professional Plus, and the third one is basically what we are talking about today, which is the cloud offers, that is Office 365. This is a cloud-based version of the Office, and it's available both as PC and Mac version. It is a browser-based application, and it's also available via mobile device as applications. Office Standard and Office for Mac. Both of these are on-premise desktop applications which are installed locally on your computer. It contains a suite of 6 different client applications, and the following are the applications, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Outlook, and Publisher. Currently, Publisher is not included in Office for Mac, and it's only available for Office for PC. All these licenses are licensed via the Volume Licensing Service Center, and it's available in TechSoup for $29 per license. And you have a limit of 50 licenses per 2-year cycle. The Office Professional Plus has the exactly same applications as in the Office Standard, with addition to 2 different applications. It is a Skype for Business and InfoPath. And these licenses are only for Windows PC, and it's not available for Office for Mac. For Mac. These are licensed via Volume Licensing Service Center, and they are at a cost of $211 per license. Now we'll come to Office 365. Office 365 is a set of service plans which combines Microsoft Online services with subscription licenses to the Office suite. And these are licensed via user subscription licenses. Currently we have 2 Office 365 subscription type licenses. One is the Business, which has essentially 2 different types, again, which is Essentials and Premium version. And we have the Enterprise, which has E1 plan, E3 plan, and F1 plan, which is available through TechSoup. In this slide, you can see the different differences between Office 365, Office Standard, Office Professional Plus. You can see most of the applications are available in all these plans. However, the Office 365 is a subscription-based plan. For Office 365, the download and installation process is fairly straightforward. You simply go to Office portal and download your plan that way. However, for Office Standard and Office Professional Plus, this is a time-consuming process where you download it from the Volume Licensing Service Center for Microsoft. You can use the Office Standard and Office Professional in combination with Office 365. However, these Office 2010, 2013, and 2016 will be cut off from Office 365 services from October 13, 2020. In this slide, you can see the different plans which is included in Office 365. the Business Essentials, which is the free version, has up to a maximum users of 300 users, and these have the Office applications as cloud applications available. The main difference between the paid versions and the free versions is that in the paid versions you can actually install and download the copies of Office Suite on your computer, versus on the free version you can only use these applications as a cloud-based. You can refer back to these slides, so I'll just go over these very briefly. So you can refer back to these slides shortly. Now I'll transfer the slides to Ricky, who will take up the next couple of slides. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Ricky. Thank you for joining. Happy birthday, Neetu. To touch base on Office Online, as Neetu just mentioned, Business Essentials, the free version, Enterprise E1, the free version, are going to utilize the aspect of Office Online. She briefly mentioned how these free licenses are web-based only, and they utilize the Office Online aspect, meaning you would need an internet connection to log into your Office.com portal, and you would open Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, etc. Via your browser. It's great because it works in combination with maybe a current purchase of Office 2016 on-premise. Most organizations, as they're coming familiar with the Office 365 and learning the intricacies of this platform, they realize they may have just recently purchased an Office 2016 via TechSoup, a donated license for a new employee. And these two tiers, E1 and Business Essentials, work in tandem. And it's because you're not actually downloading these applications to your endpoint, to that specific laptop or desktop, but you get the benefits of being able to be a little bit more mobile and accessing these applications across different locations for your organization. It also provides the OneDrive and Business license for SharePoint. So as you're starting to move and plan for the cloud, you can actually start these licenses and purchase E1s and Business Essentials, essentially, to start slowly with that process. Office Mobile is another aspect of why the Office Online would work best. It essentially allows users to utilize the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote on their mobile devices. Bring your own devices is more of a aspect in the workforce these days. So the Office Mobile aspect to these Office 365 tiers are a great solution to be able to access the applications you need to if you have volunteers that are doing certain work on the field, or you yourself just want to utilize the Excel or Word while you're on the go. This is a great benefit to the Office 365 platform. There's some interesting call-outs. So it's free to use in view-only mode on devices with a screen size up to 10.1. It's very specific. If it's over that size, so think of your iPads, the large iPads. If you go over that screen size, you actually would need to purchase a license. The user license required to enable full editing functionality as well. Again, there's some specifications there, so you would actually need a paid license to utilize it on large devices. And Office 365 activation restricts each licensed user up to 5 instances. So a great benefit of Office 365 is being able to use it across up to 5 endpoints or 5 devices per installation, essentially. Office 365 Professional Plus. So essentially, this is a suite of clients for PCs and Macs, phones, and tablets. The nomenclature is very similar, but it's licensed via a standalone product, which is included in the Office 365 suites or Microsoft 365 E3 plans. So those are 2 or 3 different plans, essentially. Office 365 Professional Plus is a standalone product. Office 365 E3, Essentials, E5 is its own product. And then Microsoft 365 is a suite of products. It's its own package. Very similar naming convention, which is very difficult sometimes to remember. When purchased standalone, you obtain OneDrive for Business Plan 1 with a Professional Plus. It's sometimes a solution an organization is looking for specifically, and so it's baked into this license structure. Exchange Online is Office 365's branded messaging, as it says, in collaboration online. Essentially, it's the hosted application to move any organization's on-premise server, Exchange server to the cloud. This is highly sought after. It's included in the free donated versions, the zero cost. So again, Business Essentials, Enterprise 1, or E1, as well as it's included in the downloadable paid per month license tier. So those were, again, E3, E5s, and then the Microsoft tier, Microsoft 365 E3. Skype for Business, many are already familiar with the aspects of instant messaging, whether we utilize it through everyday use of Facebook Messenger or just texting. So organizations are looking for a solution to do that across teams that might be remote, instead of and not using their data for their phones, and kind of compiling this tool to be able to search back a history of conversation. So Skype for Business is great for that utilization. It's included in all the tiers, essentially. Excuse me one second. Microsoft announced shortly that Skype for Business will be rolling into something called Teams. So essentially, the Skype application will be soon known as Microsoft Teams, which incorporates webinars capability, that email functionality, as well as being able to share documents via groups if needed to. The license level, as it calls out, is Business Essentials, available BE, Business Essentials, Business Premium, which is $3, and E1 on all of the Office 365 suites. So OneDrive for Business, most organizations who contact us want to know essentially the size of how much each plan is able to hold for OneDrive. Most users are familiar with the capabilities or what OneDrive is essentially for. We like just to remind users that OneDrive is essentially designed for each individual person within your organization to save up to 1 terabyte of data in the cloud, so those forms. In each individual Microsoft account, your user can share out to a group of listed people. You can share out to a specific domain, so your TechSoup.org alias, so only the people with that alias view the document. You can structure a set group. For example, you need finance personnel to see a certain document in that, and you have that saved. You can share it with that specific user within your organization. So it's a great collaboration tool, as well as an access to start saving files online and saving that storage as well. SharePoint Online is robust. So this is the tool that we like to say this is more for the entire organization. Essentially, this comes with 1 terabyte of storage that is provided across the board. So OneDrive was per user, 1 terabyte per user. SharePoint's 1 terabyte across the board. So this is really to house specific documents for your organization to log in and get. It's very easy to add more data if 1 terabyte seems low for those uses, which is quite nice. These are included in your Business Essential, so it is included in the free version, the Business Premium and E1s. The higher tier plan 2 of Office 365, essentially just adds a little bit more enhancement, including, as it says, developer-related features. So these are more robust features that typically need more configuration, or at least a backend knowledge base to get started. It is also great for the F1 tier, the first line worker, essentially those volunteer employees that may need access to certain documents out on the field, or just not in the organization on a daily basis, but can have access to certain documents needed. And so that tier of license called an F1, and SharePoint's included in that as well. So I mentioned Microsoft Teams a moment ago, and this is essentially what Microsoft Skype for Business will be turning into here in the standard for the next year. Again, it's an online service for organizations. It's group-based collaboration. So its biggest competitors are Slack. Essentially provides video conferencing, internal group video conferencing, voice and video meetings. And the great thing about this for any health organizations that are eligible for Microsoft products, it's HIPAA compliant at launch. So there's no coming up to speed on that. You can start utilizing it, and it's great with that compliancy. It provides e-discovery and legal hold for channels if this is something that your organization essentially does, which is great. And it is part of the Business Essentials, the Business Premium, E1, E3, and F1 license. Currently, you cannot just purchase Teams. You would have to obtain an Office 365 license. So Office 365 Business licenses essentially is a cap. It's limited to 300 licenses. Most organizations we come across don't have 300 employees that would need Office 365. So, and this is great to get started. One, because you can mix and match licenses, so you can have a subset of employees that use Enterprise Essentials, the free version, and then you can have your employees who need to upgrade their suite and utilize Business Premium for $3 a user per month, essentially. So mix and matching Office tiers is capable. The great points of this, the difference really most users want to know about, and this calls it out, the security e-discovery features are only available on the enterprise line. So if this is not a functionality you seem to be using or need within your organization, Business Essentials, Business Premium is more than appropriate for your organization. All right. Okay, so Business Essentials, it's a limit of 300. It comes with the, just to recap, it comes with the Office Online and mobile access as well. Security features are available in the enterprise licenses, but not in the Business Essentials. So it's really, that's the main difference why you would want to go to an enterprise, an E1 and an E3 line versus a Business Essentials line. But it does come with Exchange, the OneDrive for Business, the Skype, SharePoint, Teams, and Planner. Business Premium, $3 a user per month. It's really entry level. It comes with the same subset of suite of applications, and it is designed and targeted towards smaller to medium-sized businesses. Value-added services. Value-added services is something that TechSoup and I particularly help with. It's we offer here at TechSoup one-time desks, one-time fixes for $55. The help desk fix provides support for experienced technicians, essentially, at a minimal price point. So as organizations grow, everybody's an accidental techie, but we don't have that in IT infrastructure. This 55 one-time fix is designed to help you fix that issue immediately. A more of a long-term solution we're offering is a help desk monthly subscription. So for $35 a month, this is an application that you would download onto your endpoint where we could essentially remote desktop in, provide quarterly updates and tune-ups, provide some malware and spyware prevention, and keep you up to date on those, And it also, for a little bit more of an added price point, we can manage your server as well, your uptime there. I posted the link here for you guys to take a look right there in the chat. I'm going to pass this back to one moment.
All right, thank you so much, Neetu and Ricky. We have just a couple minutes left, so if we don't get to your questions today during the Q&A, Ricky and Neetu will be in touch with you. But because we do have a couple minutes, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Ricky. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our first question here. So let's see. So the first question, can churches qualify for this program? They may not have a 501c3 IRS letter, given they may qualify by definition or by their parent denomination's 501c3 status.
Hi, thanks. So can churches qualify? Yes, they qualify for Microsoft. If it's an issue of determination letters, you are a church that doesn't fall under a parent church, we would require the 501c3 determination letter. If you have a parent church, essentially we would utilize the structure or any documentation calling out that you are a subset of that denomination to prove that validation. So churches are eligible for Microsoft products, and that's the basic protocol of how we just ensure that church is current in that charitable status.
Okay, great. We have time for about one more question. So, and for those of you who didn't get your answers or questions answered, we'll definitely follow up with you individually. So we have a question here regarding help desk. So you mentioned that it was $35 per month. Is that per device?
That's a great question. So the $35 per month is per device, and it gets you essentially the help on that endpoint for that price point. And you can add as you go, as you need. So it's usually great for your admin users, and then you can add to maybe onboard more employees as needed.
All right, so we are at time. So thank you again to Neetu and Ricky for today's presentation. We have a post-event survey, so if you guys have any feedback for us, this really helps. We're going to try and do this every couple of weeks or every month. We have another webinar happening again with Neetu and Ricky. I believe it is on November 5th. So we'll chat out that link to you right now with the URL about the next webinar. If you're on social media, feel free to give us a follow. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a blog where we post helpful tips and tricks and things like that. And here is a list of our upcoming webinars that are happening in the next month. You can see at the bottom from desktop to cloud why organizations are converting. So that's going to be the next one that we have with Neetu and Ricky. If you're interested in signing up, please check the chat box, or you can go to our website where we'll be hosting the URL. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and thank you again to Neetu and Ricky and to Zurian on the back end for helping out with chat, and lastly to our sponsor, ReadyTalk. Thank you.